I feel like we should be further along in establishing this, but gender is not a two-party system. It's a spectrum. I'm so sick of saying that word, I could vomit it out. And I don't mean that as transgender or cisgender. I mean that as male or on one side of the spectrum and female on the other, whether you're trans or not. You can, trans be damned. I'm discussing in this context male and female being the polar ends of a spectrum. Most people, even if you're not trans, even if you are cisgender, most people have qualities of both. And that doesn't make you trans. Unless you're a guest on, chances are you're not necessarily the 100% epitome of manlyhood. You know, most of the guys that I know, straight or gay, trans or cisgender, like, they're not Arnold Schwarzeneggers, they're not Gastons, they're not, you know, fuck. I have trouble even thinking of examples because so many people are a little bit backed off of that. And same thing goes for women. Most women are not the all woman, all femininity, all girliness all the time. I know some people who are close on either of those, on either side when it comes to their identity and their expression, but there's a little wiggle room, right? And most people are close enough to pick one, or to not have to pick one. You know, either they're assigned male at birth and they are, you know, there is a little wiggle room as to what kind of man you are. You don't have to be the brawny man all the time to be a man. So they're a man, that's that. Same goes for women. Most of the humans in this world don't hold ourselves to those kinds of standards, whether you're trans or not. The Kinsey scale was a perfect example of the beginning of that conversation when it came to sexuality. You can be gay, you can be straight, you can also be a bunch of things in between. Gender works the same way. You can be strictly male, you can be strictly female, whether you're trans or not, in either side, but there's also a million things you can be in between. You can be a little bit, you know, in that gray area or a little bit in that wiggle room area and still be what you are, still be male or still be female. The point is, gender itself as a concept, as a biological phenomenon, is not binary. Binary just means that there are two sides of it. There's more than that. So therefore, it's by definition non-binary. It's something else. It's whatever the scientific intelligent word is for something that exists on a spectrum. It doesn't exist in a black and white, one or two, stop or go binary choice. That means that all genders are non-binary. I have to laugh, and I think a lot of people do, when they see news articles or blogs or whatever talking about so-and-so identifies as gender non-binary. It's not really a super accurate or super woke sounding way to put it. Non-binary just means not one of two. So if gender itself is not binary, that means that all genders are non-binary. That means that all people, stay with me here, all people are non-binary. Everybody is non-binary. And this is why I had a little trouble when that word first started being used as kind of the common umbrella term, if you will, for people who are in between on the spectrum. I identify as genderqueer because I'm specifically making the note that I am in the middle of the spectrum. I'm a little closer to that, a little more into that wiggle room and a little closer to that middle than your typical man, be it a trans man or a cis man. And bless their hearts, cis people are trying. Like, I know, cis people are trying. Y'all, like, and you, most of you are very nervous about fucking it up and offending somebody and hurting somebody's feelings, and I can appreciate and empathize with that. I try to have a mountainous amount of patience when it comes to that. And that's why you'll see my co-hosts slip up on my pronouns here and there. And, you know, they're at a point where we've known each other long enough now, they get one warning. And if they don't correct it and, you know, if they do it again, they're going to get shit. But, you know, I get it. I get it. Gender is pervasive, and it has seeped its way into everything we do, the way we see people, the way we talk to people. It's seeped itself into everything. I appreciate and I do, the fact that people are trying to spread awareness about, you know, about this whole topic, that there are so many different varieties of gender because there are so many different varieties of people. And that doesn't mean that, oh, there are 67 genders. No, it means that anyone can sit along the spectrum wherever they sit. And if they float a little back and forth, that's cool too. In that logic, and in the frame of being aware and conscious of the fact that gender is a spectrum and that gender is not a binary system, that means that all genders are non-binary. That means that all people are non-binary. That doesn't, however, mean that everyone is trans.